Good afternoon and welcome back to Asgard, and welcome to the second episode for our mod spotlight / tutorial for Abyssalcraft 1.10. So of course last episode we covered the basics of the mod and a lot of the world gen, different things. And I made a slight mention of PE energy, and so today we're going to be covering how to actually generate that energy, how to use that energy, and how to control that energy. So these statues that we got last episode, I showed you how to get them. So from the left to the right we have Cthulhu, Hastur, Jazar, Stupid Rain, Azathoth, Netherlotep, Yog-Sothoth, and Shub-Niggurath. So now that we've got those, what we can do is, if we wanted to, we can take one, just set it down right there, and if we're sitting here in front of it and holding our Necronomicon, there we go. It just shot a burst out at us, and it will start charging up our Necronomicon. So right now it's 35 out of 5,000. Every single burst that you receive is 5 additional PE energy. So, of course, with some of the rituals, the beginning rituals even, requiring 5,000 PE, you can see where this would take a while. And you'll notice that if I go over here, these don't actually shoot the bursts, because I've noticed that if they're placed directly next to each other, they're not going to work as intended. So you do kind of want to spread these out a little bit. You can do something like this, and these might take a second to shoot their first burst. There we go. So as long as you don't put them directly side by side, it's going to be okay. Now, they do have a limited range. However, if you use monolith stone pillars instead, which these are just crafted with 4 of that monolith stone that we found last episode that the statues were on, and we put this on there, we'll notice that, we'll give it a second here. Yeah, see, the range is actually increased whenever you do that. And once again, you can spread these out the same way that I showed you over there and have them producing. However, standing there holding the book just to get the energy built up on that is not really any fun at all. So there's better ways, luckily, to handle that. And that is where we get into the energy control, and as well as better generation of it. So you have a couple different things to help you out. You have these energy pedestals, and you'll notice that they have 5,000 PE for their internal buffer that they can store. You also have sacrificial altars. You have energy collectors. You have energy relays, and you have energy containers. So the way that we use all of these, first up, the sacrificial altar, if you were to say, set this down here, you'll notice that this sheep actually starts emitting like a smoke effect. So if we were to, let's see, we have 90 energy in the book right now. So if we go up and we kill that sheep, you'll notice that we now have 98. It may still be charging, just a second. No. Okay, so it's like 8 energy whenever you sacrifice something, which isn't too bad considering, of course, you could always set up like an automatic grinder or something like that to help it out. And probably generate a decent amount of energy fairly quickly. Now these energy pedestals, the way these work is if you set these down, you can actually put the book on top of it, just like we can with that sacrificial altar. If you don't put a book in here, that's okay. It'll just start filling up the internal buffer for this. But then if we were to say put our pillars down, and you have to put these 3 blocks away from the energy pedestal. But we could do something like this, and they have to be on the same axis. They couldn't be like out here. That wouldn't work. They have to be on the same X or Y axis. And then if we put our statues down, like so, you'll notice that these start firing in. Now, you don't actually have to have 4. You could just have 1 if you wanted to, if that's all you had access to. And these are going to start firing into the energy pedestal and, in turn, charging up our Necronomicon. So you'll notice it's up to 163. Now, in addition to the energy pedestal, we can also use the energy collector. However, this one can't accept a book on the top of it, or any kind of item or anything like that. So it's pretty much just gonna build up energy within it. Now another thing that you can do is you can use these energy relays. Now the way these work is you can put them on any direction that you want. I think we're going to put it like right here. And then what you can do is you can set up like a little system. And you'll notice sometimes they'll fire actually just into the energy collectors all over the place and everything. But basically what that energy relay is going to do is it's going to fire its bursts out towards the next available thing. So then if we say set up an energy container right here, basically this thing stores large amounts of energy. Oops. And this thing can accept items. So you'll notice right now it's up to 60 PE. These things you can't actually see how much energy is in them, but this you can. It has its own GUI. And we can put that book in there, and you'll notice that it's going to, the left side is going to drain from the Necronomicon into the energy container. The right side is going to drain from the container into the Necronomicon. So you can actually set up, of course, like large systems to generate just a lot of PE and have it spread out and go into your energy containers and build up the Necronomicon that way, or anything that requires your PE energy. So that's honestly the best way to do it, because standing there with the book is no fun at all. No fun at all. Now, in addition to, generating all this energy and stuff, there's also a bad side to the use of these statues. So if we go into Game Mode S, for example, and we'll give it just a second, because sometimes it can take a little while to actually proc. Okay, so there we go. That's one of the bad effects, by the way. You'll notice that a lot of lightning just hit me, and then some really bad things happened, some explosions and all that good stuff. So basically that means the gods are getting angry. It's going to happen. There's really no way to avoid it. There was just a random teleport right there. The gods are very, very angry right now, it appears. But a number of different negative effects can occur. Like there, I had a big explosion, I got teleported, I got some fire and all that bad stuff. Probably one of the worst ones, I got poison as well. You can get some negative debuffs and things. But one of the worst ones, those lesser Shoggoths that we talked about last episode, can actually be spawned when the gods get angry too. If those get spawned, of course, they can start spreading that black ooze, and they can honestly turn your entire base into black ooze if you're not careful. So anytime that you play with these, you have to be aware of all of that. In addition, I think I forgot to mention, these actually have to have a clear sight to the sky. They can't be put indoors or anything. Now, in addition, there are ways to upgrade these. So when it comes to the statues, you can upgrade using these ritual charms. Now, these do require a ritual to craft. So, for example, like the range one takes arrows and shadow fragments, and it'll also take a standard ritual charm, which these are just crafted like this. Now, I'm not going to get into rituals this episode. That's what we're going to be covering next episode. Now, each statue, what you can do, you have 3 different upgrades to choose from. You have range, duration, and power. And when these are applied to one of your statues, what they're going to do is they're going to adjust the stats for either range, duration, or power. And so the way it works, range is how far the statue can shoot bursts to, like an energy pedestal or an energy container, just anything that accepts that energy. The duration amplifier, the way that this one works is it's going to increase the speed at which the statue is going to release the bursts. So if, say, normally there's about a 5-second split between when it shoots a burst and when it shoots that second burst, a duration amplifier may decrease it down to, say, 4 seconds or 3 seconds, So basically it's just going to shorten the duration time between those bursts. And then the power amplifier is going to increase the amount of power that statue generates whenever it releases a burst. So it's going to make those bursts a bit stronger. And the way you add these is you just go up to the statue and you just right click it. So anyway, that's how to actually upgrade the statues themselves. Now you can also upgrade the relays, the energy pedestals, the energy storage, the collectors, all that stuff. And the way it works, there's multiple different upgrades, and I'm not going to go over all of them because they're the same for each of these. But let's say, for example, our energy container. Move that stuff over there. So we've got the energy container, and then in addition, like I said, there's upgrades for these. So we have the Overworld version, the Abyssal Wasteland version, the Dreadlands, and the Omethal. There we go. I was looking at the wrong one there. So altogether, there's 5 different versions. Now, for example, the Energy Container, by default, can hold 10,000 PE, which is quite a bit at Tier 1. However, once you hit Tier 2, your Tier 2, say, Necronomicon, can hold 10,000 on its own. So, there is a next tier Energy Container, which is the Overworld one. Now, this one is actually craftable before you go into any dimensions. So you can upgrade your stuff before you go into that first dimension. This is totally craftable. And generally, the Overworld stuff is going to be crafted with a mix of cobblestone, darkstone, cobblestone, and corellium with the tier 1s, which is all obtainable in the Overworld. Now, the Abyssal Wasteland Energy Container is pretty much the one that ties in with, as far as tiers go, with the Abyssal Wasteland Necronomicon. So this one holds 60,000 PE, which is absolutely massive at this point. Tier 3 we have, or Tier 4 we have the Dreadlands, which is 240,000, which is just crazy. And then lastly we have the Omethal, which is 1.2 million energy that can be stored within the energy container. So of course that is a ton of energy. Now, aside from the first one and the Overworld, you're actually going to have to, of course, go into dimensions. You're going to have to go into new dimensions for each tier of this. And then lastly, just like our energy containers and our energy relays and all that stuff, the Necronomicon is upgradable. So you have the standard Necronomicon, you have the Abyssal Wasteland Necronomicon, the Dreadlands Necronomicon, the Omethal Necronomicon, and then finally the Abyssalcraft. And you're going to have to start going into new dimensions to start upgrading those. So for example, the Abyssal Wasteland Necronomicon you cannot make until you've spent a little bit of time in the next dimension that we're going to be going to, which we'll be going there, and I'll be showing you how to get there next episode. Now, in addition to increasing the amount of PE that these can hold, which of course allows you to do more advanced rituals, because for example, by the time you hit the Abyssal Wasteland Necronomicon stuff, you're going to have rituals that cost more than 5,000 PE. So you will have to upgrade these. But in addition, like for example, if we go into the book here and we go to, say, Forbidden Knowledge, you'll notice like there's nothing in the machine tab on this one because you can't craft any machines when you first start out. But when we get to, say, the Abyssalcraft, you're going to have like the Abyssal Wasteland tab, you're going to have a machine tab, and so on. Which we'll get more into that stuff next episode when we actually go to the new biome. We'll start covering that a little bit more. So anyway, that's pretty much how to control your PE energy and how to generate it and everything. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And keep in mind that you can make some really elaborate setups with this. I don't suggest you just sit there and hold the book for... that'll work. Honestly, holding the book will work for like the tier 1 stuff. It'll be kind of slow. But it is doable. But by the time you hit the tier 2 stuff, I don't suggest it. I suggest you start looking at ways to upgrade it. The best thing to do, I mean, if you don't want to go too elaborate right out the gate, is just set up some statues with an energy pedestal in the middle, and maybe energy collectors, and then have those shoot out with energy relays to a storage, energy storage, thing, the container, energy container, to at least have some place where you can amass a decent amount of energy to have for your rituals. So, anyway, I would suggest doing that. They're not terribly expensive, realistically. Some monolith stones, some shadow gem shards, and some shadow gems, which if you do the spawner like I suggested, you'll have plenty of these. I know in all the mod series I have like a full barrel that I got in like no time with those. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess, wow. That sacrificial altar has gotten him from like way over here. By the way, these sacrificial altars and stuff do work with the energy relays as well. So you can always set up a spawner type grinder system using that. So anyway, once again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. And next episode, we'll be covering how to do rituals and how to go to the first biome or the first dimension, and how to, what to do once you get there and whatnot. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you found it helpful. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure and hit the like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. And I hope to see you guys next time. We'll have a bit of fun. That first dimension is very, very exciting in my opinion. So